it is Kate from Kate's Crafting Corner. It is Sunday, June 14th, and I am here to do the update on our first two matches of the day, as well as I realized I didn't share my predictions for today's matches, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, including the matches that already happened. So, first game of the day, Germany. Isn't she glorious? I got her off Etsy. I love her so much. The only complaint I have is where the spout comes. So if it's not here, which is right by the handle, it's on the opposite side. And both of those make like awkward places to drink from. Right now I have it set here. It's just an awkward way to drink. So I don't love that, but I do love how it looks. Also, found out the hard way, do not shake her to try to mix our water flavor in, because it will go out. But that's okay. Okay, so somehow, miraculously, I managed to lose my second pair of Germany earrings. How is this happening? So we're back with the soccer ones, but I bought a pair of Germany earrings to replace the pair I already lost. I put it somewhere so that I would be ready for today's game, and I have looked all over and I cannot find them. I spent like a significant portion of the Germany game trying to find those stupid earrings. It's very frustrating. So hopefully they'll show up soon, because I'm not going to buy them again, okay? It's ridiculous. Anyway, okay. So, in today's match, and we have to go a little bit fast because kickoff is in like, well, it's 3:50 right now. The anthems are in 5 minutes. Kickoff is in 10. So, let's talk about Germany versus Curacao. The game ended. Okay, my prediction was a Germany win, obviously. I thought it would be a 4-0 scoreline for Germany. The scoreline ended up being 7-1. 7-1 for Germany. I forgot to write down that the halftime score was 3-1. So at one point in the game, it was 1-1. And Curacao was looking dangerous, to tell the truth. Like, I was a little bit worried. Like, Germany, come on. We gotta win this by a lot. You know, people are doubting our ability to win the World Cup. Gotta step up. So in the 6-minute, Mencha for Germany scored the opener. He was having a great game, especially in the first half. So he scored the opening goal. We had another penalty. Oh, I forgot to write that one was a penalty. The third goal from Germany was a penalty. So I had to add more stitches for another goal by penalty. So that makes 2 so far in this tournament. We had 6 different scores. So 6 of the 7 goals were scored by unique players. Kai Havertz, yeah, who plays for Arsenal, scored 2 of our goals, and 1 was the penalty. It was such a good game. But the commentators were still like, oh, if you concede a goal to a country like Curacao, blah, 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 you don't have a chance. And it's like, dude, everyone gives up goals to random people, okay? You can't say that. Like, Argentina won their World Cup losing the opening match, okay? So calm yourself down. Sometimes I just have to argue with the commentators. They make me so mad sometimes. Like, yeah, we conceded a goal. We scored 7, okay? Shut up. That's my feelings on that. This was also the first World Cup game of this tournament with 0 cards given. So well done to both countries on like playing an even-tempered game. Well done to the referee for just letting the game flow. There was no reason to call things, and he didn't. So that was really good. I enjoyed that fact. So Germany versus Curacao, 7-1. So both projects are going to have to be worked on. Let's start with Germany's. So I decided to give them this yarn. I don't actually love how it looks, but I thought I thought it would be fun to have this for Germany. So yeah, this will be Germany's yarn for the tournament. So 7 worry worms in this one. Probably should have picked a color I liked more. And then the project that I picked is going to be a new start, or rather a restart. I'd only done like, I don't know, 5-10 stitches, and I just ripped them out because it is the Christmas Market Sal from Country Cottage Needleworks. This is an ongoing sal right now. I think there's 11 parts total, and 1, 5, 6 have come out so far. So still plenty of time to jump in if you want to. But so they came out with the middle part first, and I hate a middle start. I hate middle starts. So once this part had come out, the top left, I calculated where that would be on the fabric and went to, so I will be restarting it there. So here we go. Nothing to see except for a pin to show me where the start is and the first color on my needle. So I will be doing 175 stitches on this. Let's put it back in here. This will, in all honesty, probably be the last project I work on for today, depending on the other score lines, because for semi-saints, I'm already at only a half a point for one match, the USA match, because I didn't get my stitches done on time. So every game you don't get your stitches done on time, you get half of a point, and every game you get your stitches done by the next day at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time, then you get a full point. So I'm gonna work on the low scoring games first to catch up, and at a 7-1 that is 200 stitches, and that is not a low scoring game. So we're gonna work on other the ones that will keep me on track better. For Curacao, I gave them this beautiful blue. It is country blue, medium country blue maybe is its full name. And the project I assigned to them is Christmas Rules, because Curacao starts with a C, Christmas starts with a C. This is what it will look like when complete. And here is my starting point. So I will be on rule number 3. They're doing the national anthem right now for Cote d'Ivoire. If you did not know, I used to live there, actually. Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast. Yeah, when I was in 6th grade, my family moved there. My parents are missionaries, and that is the first country my parents were assigned to. Later, we moved to Senegal, that are also playing in the World Cup, and that is actually where I graduated high school. I attended 11th and 12th grade in Senegal. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 were in Ivory Coast. 9 was actually spread out in a bunch of different places because there was a war, and we evacuated out like 2 or 3 times. So I was in Ivory Coast, then South Africa doing homeschool. Then we went back to Ivory Coast, and then shortly, like weeks later, we evacuated to Kenya, and I finished 9th grade at a school in Kenya. And then 10th grade, we moved back to Ivory Coast. I was there for a year. I was one of 4 students in my grade. 4 or 5. I was the only girl. I was harassed very badly. Like my arm would be twisted, literally. They would throw papers down my shirt. It was a bad situation, and I told my mom I could not be there anymore, and please send me to boarding school. They did, and I started 11th grade in boarding school in Senegal, and within the first semester of being there, war broke out again, and my family evacuated and moved. This time actually moved to Senegal. There was an American school there. It was a Christian American school that we could attend. And so after the first semester, I moved out of the boarding facility and into my family home again. So, and that's where I finished out high school. So just a little background information on me. Okay, so anyways, quickly moving to Netherlands versus Japan. I predicted a Netherlands win, but a 2-1 scoreline. I did not get this prediction right. It was right for a long time. It was right up until the 88th minute when Japan scored a second goal, and it ended in a 2-2 draw. There were 3 yellow cards in this match, all from the Netherlands. So well done, Netherlands, on being more aggressive. It felt like in the second half of the second half, so the last quarter, you could say, that Japan were wanting it more. So it wasn't surprising that they equalized, and I wouldn't have been surprised if they actually won. So both projects will be worked on. For Japan, I picked a project I really just wanted to work on, and then I assigned it to Japan. And I assigned it to Japan because the project is Kringles. There are no countries that start with a K, because I put Korea Republic with South Korea instead of Korea Republic. Had I thought more of that, I would have put this one. But anyways, J was a letter close by K, and so Japan got Kringles. And this is my starting point. I'm working on the roof. So I need to put in 50 stitches on this project. And I will just continue filling in for 50 stitches over here. I think when I finish this part of the roof, I'll move over to this window that's over here. I'm not fully decided, but that's what I'm leaning towards. We will see. Hopefully Japan continues on in this tournament and gives me the ability to keep working on it. The yarn that I assigned to them is a nice red color, and that is because they have the red circle in their flag, and so I wanted to give them red. Okay, final project to talk about is Nutcracker from Shannon Christine's. This is 2024's Nutcracker, I believe. So this is a black and white picture of what it will look like. And here is where I am at. So working in the head area. So I need to do 50 stitches on this. And I'll probably just, I think this is as far down as I can go with this green thread. So I'll probably just pick a color that's still in this area so I don't have to move the hoop yet. And work on that. This, I plan on putting multiples of Shannon Christine's Nutcrackers on the same piece of fabric. So I'm just working on this one. And I probably will put the the charted dates on it, just because, instead of the dates I finish it. For the Netherlands, I gave them this blue yarn, and that's because I associate Delft, which is blue china, with the Netherlands. They do have blue in their flag, so I gave them this. However, had I been really thinking about it, they always play in orange, the soccer team, and they're associated with orange a lot. So I should have given them an orange yarn. That would have been fun. But as it is, they're blue. And that is all for that. I want to quickly share my 2 other predictions so that we're just keeping ourselves honest here. I predicted, and the commentators disagree with me on this, I predicted a Cote d'Ivoire win over Ecuador with a scoreline of 2-1. The in-studio commentators between the match were predicting like 3-0 for Ecuador or 3-1 for Ecuador, and one went 1-0 for Ecuador, but they all went for Ecuador, and I'm going for the Ivory Coast. You know, I had a lot of trauma living in that country, so I don't necessarily love it at all, but it was a significant portion of my childhood, or my preteen and teen years. So, you know, I do like to root for them during world events when they're not playing against a country I care about more, and I don't care for Ecuador at all. So that's what I'm hoping for. And then in the last match of the day is Sweden versus Tunisia. I don't know why, but my gut said go for a draw for this one. So I went for a 1-1 draw. I have no clue at all. My predictions so far have been terrible. But, you know, you've just got to put something down. So, and that's what I put down. So the match has kicked off. We are 1 minute into Ivory Coast versus Ecuador. So I'm going to switch over to that, and I will come with more updates later. Bye, guys. Hi, friends. It's the end of the Ivory Coast versus Ecuador match. And guess what? Ivory Coast won. They scored in the 90th minute, which was awesome. I think it was a bit against the run of play, but so exciting. So I predicted the Ivory Coast to win, and they did. Now, it might have been best for Germany had the game ended in a draw, like a 0-0 draw, because now these 2 countries are in the group with Germany, Curacao, Ecuador, and Ivory Coast. And now Ivory Coast also has 3 points, and they still have to play Curacao, and Germany has to play both the Ivory Coast and Ecuador as well. So we are going to need some wins, hopefully against both of those other teams, considering they have the easiest country in the group still to go. So that makes me a little bit nervous, but I was happy that Ivory Coast won. Well, that match was on. Hi, Meg. I worked on 3 projects to get stitching done. So I did the Switzerland versus Qatar match. So we have the 25 stitches I needed to get done. It's actually 28. On Hogsmeade Sunset. So I did 3 rows here. And that, I think it's a dark blue color. So that is done. I also did 28. Funny how both of these ended up at the exact same amount extra. On Christmas Quaker 2 for Qatar. So what I did was I had to do this bottom row here, and then I started the next motif, but then my thread ran out. So I came over here. I did these last 2 stitches in that motif, and then these 5 over here. So there we go. That is one match that I am caught up on. And then I started the Morocco versus, who were they versus? Morocco versus Brazil. So I did Merry and Bright from Morocco. And I got exactly 25 stitches on this line of white over here. I went 25 over and did 25 stitches. And that was the perfect amount for the remaining thread, so that was really lucky. So that's where we are in terms of that. Now, in this match, there were 4 yellow cards, 3 received by the Ivory Coast, and 1 from Ecuador. Ivory Coast was playing a bit aggressive, and they were actually lucky that no player got a second yellow and got sent off, because some of the players on a yellow card did not tamp down their aggressiveness. So, yeah. Now let's see. I do have the projects. We are going to start with Ecuador, which I will be doing nothing for except for showing you guys. So I assigned them this nice, pretty, light orangey color, and this is another new one. It's called Peach. It's another new one to me. I saw it on Amazon, and so I bought it. And I am sad I will not be stitching anything for them. Excuse me. As I assigned them Enchanted Snowman. And I was really enjoying this the last time I worked on it. So here is where I'm at on Enchanted Snowman. So, oh well, away she goes. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Now, for the Ivory Coast, I assigned Impetuous Arrival from Heaven and Earth Designs. This is a restart for me, as the fabric I had it on previously was really showing through a lot. So it just made it, like, it wasn't nice. Okay. So I've done just over 400 stitches on here. And I think I'm doing the Royal Rose. I think that's the method. I've got a couple threads parked over here, so that's nice. I'll just work my 25 stitches on that and not have to pull any threads out. So that'll be a nice, easy start. And this is the yarn I assigned to them, like a periwinkle. And I just thought it was pretty. So, yeah, that wraps up my summary of the game. I'm going to see what I can get done in this. Let's see. They're going to walk out in about 30 minutes, so I do need a snack. So I am going to go get a snack. But then maybe I'll be able to finish. I literally just said the word. Brazils. Maybe I'll be able to finish Brazils, but I have to find that pattern actually also. So, okay, gonna go work on that. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Hey friends. Okay, Sweden versus, oh my gosh, Tunisia just ended. I worked on 3 projects again, so let's go over those. And I managed to submit all of my games for semi-sane stitches in time. I do not anticipate that for tomorrow, because there were a total of 19 goals today, which is insane. So we'll talk about the goals, the mini goals in the Sweden versus Tunisia match in a minute. Let's just go over really fast what I stitched. So on Scotland, they scored 1 goal, so I stitched 25 stitches over here on the Highland cow. So that is good. Biscayth War College, which was for Brazil, I stitched probably 26 stitches, I think. So I finished this Q, I stitched the U, and I started the A. And this word here is quadrant. So that was good. And then the one I was worried I would not finish on time was I needed 50 stitches on a whole lot of latte. And I actually got those pretty quick because it turns out everything that's left in this cup is this light pink color. So it was just filling in. It wasn't counting or anything. And so I started up here, I stitched down, I went over, and now I'm stitching up. And once I finish here, I'll cut over here and work and do that. Then I'll come up and do the remaining. But I think that's pretty good. So a couple more goals and I should finish that cup. I don't think I'll do the back stitching yet because there's back stitching along here, and so everything that borders that is the same color. So I think I'm going to do that, and then I'll come in and back stitch this cup. I just want to make sure that I have stitches in between where the back stitch goes all over, because I hate to like stitch in a hole after I've already done back stitching. So those are the projects I worked on. Now let's talk about this match. Sweden won 5-1. 5-1. You guys, that is crazy. I forgot to actually write the Sweden. I predicted a 1-1 draw. My sister told me she thought it would be 2-1 for Sweden. None of us saw 5-1 coming. So that was crazy. And what's kind of cool as like a little cool thing is the same Swedish player scored the first and the last goal. So he kind of like bookended it, which I always think is, you know, a kind of cool thing. The player who, his name's Ayari. The player who scored their 4th goal, Svanberg. So, okay, this goal was originally called offsides, but the VAR looked at it and they determined that another Swedish player touched the ball in between the first Swedish player kicking the ball and the ultimate goal scorer scoring the goal. So someone else touched it, which resets the play to the Swedish player. Then he was on sides at that point. So I couldn't really see whether that player actually touched the ball or not, but it was close. But so it counted, and that was the player Svanberg's first touch of the ball as he came in as a substitute. So that's really awesome for him. They did go into the halftime with a 2-1 score. So yeah, so I mean, there was a while there. Sweden didn't score their 3rd goal until the 59th minute, so there was a good 15 minutes where, you know, like, Tunisia could come back, like, they could draw it, I don't know. So, one other thing that was interesting, there was only 1 yellow card in this game, and it was got by a Tunisian player whose last name is Khedira, and it turns out that this is the younger brother of a former German international, Sami Khedira, who I followed his career for a long time because he played for Germany. And so, little brother Khedira, I don't know his first name, he did play in the German under-18s. He's now in his 30s, but he wasn't really called up for Germany. Like, he wasn't called up for Germany. Okay, it wasn't that he wasn't really. He really wasn't called up for Germany in the adult, which made him available for Tunisia because their family heritage goes back to Tunisia. And so I think this was only like his 4th time playing for the Tunisian national team. So that's interesting. He didn't score. He got a yellow card. But, I mean, he's playing in a World Cup. And his brother played in a World Cup. His brother won a World Cup. But, so, I doubt that's going to happen for Tunisia. But, that's cool. 2 brothers playing in World Cups. I mean, not at the same time. That's happened before for different countries, and that's really cool too. But anyways, so that's just a little like aside. Anyway, I thought I would, oh, wait. Hang on, let me just grab them. Need to go over these really quick. So for Tunisia, their yarn color is just a gray. No particular reason why. And their project is Twisted Christmas Sampler from Northern Needleworks Expression. Let me see if I have a cover picture. I do. So that is what it will look like. And I have not done much on it at all, but I do love this one. So I owe it 25 stitches, which will probably all be there in the white. But you can see how cool that looks. It was a pain in the butt to do, though, you guys. It was a real pain in the butt to do. Okay, so that's Tunisia. Sweden is a new start for me. Sorry, let me just put this all back. Sweden, I decided to do the, okay, I give them a fun yarn color. So 5 in this will be fun. I've never made one in this particular yarn color. And I gave them a Prairie Schooler Santa. So I have completed a couple. I have one that's fully finished that I don't have with me, but these are 2 that need to be fully finished. So I have that one. And I have this one. And the project, the one that I will be doing or starting is 2025 Santa. And that's what he looks like. So I will probably start, let me see, probably in, I'll probably count down to one of his legs to start the red there. Or I could figure out for starting at the top. These Santas I normally start in the middle or count to a place somewhere in the middle-ish area. I don't know. I do have to do 125 stitches, so so yeah, I don't know. I am working these on a sparkly fabric. I don't know if you can see the sparkle in there, but yep. I bought one thing of sparkly fabric at Joann's or something like that. I don't know. And I was able to cut it in quarters, excuse me, to fit 4 Santas on that fabric. So, this one will be started. Okay. Has there been a 2026 Santa announced? Does anybody know? I mean, maybe it's too soon for that. Okay. Oh, jeez. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's go over my predicted scores for tomorrow's matches. These are not the order that the matches are in, but once again, this book messed up the order. Okay, so let's see. The first match will be Belgium versus Egypt. I predicted a Belgium win with a scoreline of 3-1. Guys, I only got 1 prediction right today. That's real bad. Oh, wait, no, I got 2. I got 2 because I said that the Ivory Coast would win. So I did get 2 right. That's okay. That's decent. I mean, not really, but it's decent enough. The games don't start until 12 tomorrow. Oh, wait, nope, lies. Okay, the first match, sorry, starts at 9 a.m. and is actually Spain versus Cape Verde. And I predicted Spain to win 4-0. Then Belgium versus Egypt, and I predicted Belgium to win 3-1. Apparently, I'm having a high-scoring day tomorrow, according to my predictions. Match number 3 is Saudi Arabia versus Uruguay, in which I predicted Uruguay to win 4-0. And the final match of the day is Iran versus Netherlands. I don't know anything about either of those 2 national teams, so I picked, sorry, not Netherlands, New Zealand. So I predicted New Zealand to win 2-1. So, we'll see how I do tomorrow in terms of predictions. I'm not being very successful. There have been 12 matches, and I have 5 predictions correct. So, the draws are killing me, because I hate predicting draws, and then I do predict a draw, and it ends up with a win. So, I don't know. You guys. Anyway, I'm going to try to edit a video. And then it is our garbage night, so I'm probably going to work on garbage while editing the video. Or maybe I'll work on some dishes or something. And then I might try to watch this Scotland game from yesterday. Then at least I'll be caught up on 1 game. Because I also want to watch the commentary of the Australia game. So hopefully I'll fit that in tomorrow, because tomorrow's last match starts at 6, which means it should be over at 8, which means I should have time to fit in another one, as well as some editing. So, yeah, gonna go work on that, and I will chat with you guys later. Hope you have a fantastic day, and watch lots of the World Cup. Bye!